Jannik Sinner successfully defends his Australian Open title with a straight set win over Zverev in the final. So let's take a look back at this tournament for Jannik and see how it unfolded and see how it led to him winning his third Grand Slam. And before we continue with the video, 99% of you guys are not subscribed. So if you enjoy regular tennis content, do me a massive favour and hit that subscribe button. So Jannik Sinner came into 2025 with lots of expectations and lots of pressure, or so we thought. I mean, he had a very, very good season in 2024 and, trying to replicate those very high standards that he set as the new world number one, winning both hard court slams last year, was quite hard to uphold, or so we thought. He basically played a pretty average level, especially by his standards. Nothing too fancy, just, super consistent, maintained his high intensity ground strokes, huge power of both wings, consistent backhand, consistent forehand, few unforced errors, very high winner rates, and he won a Grand Slam just like that, playing his normal average level. And this is pretty crazy. I mean, Zverev said it in the final as well. He said that from the back of the court, he can do anything to stop Jannik. Jannik was just too good. And that kind of describes how most of Sinner's matches went. Sinner was just too consistent all the time. Every single shot that he produces is just, better, a little bit better than everyone else. His forehand's just a little bit better in the rally, and he can turn it on its head. I mean, Zverev hit a 100-mile-an-hour forehand, and Jannik somehow managed to redirect all that pace to a position where Zverev was on the defensive on his next shot. I mean, how many players on the tour can do that? Take a huge forehand, a huge cross-court forehand, and redirect it back down the line to put your opponent, who's a good mover for his size, in Alexander Zverev, on the defensive. As well as this, Sinner was just unfazed. I mean, you look at the huge pressure in that second set tiebreak in the final, especially. I mean, if Zverev wins that, that it's going to at least go to 4 sets, and that Zverev has right now the much better resume in terms of holding up over longer 4 or 5 set matches, and Sinner hasn't really shown that. I mean, all his losses have been in 5 sets. I get that it proves that he's a good player that needs to be taken out in 5 sets, but it also shows that when these matches do get longer, his record does go down. So for him just to turn up in that tiebreak, play without fear, I mean, he was hitting forehands on the lines and winning points like that. I mean, showing absolutely zero fear, zero anxiety from all that stress and pressure of being in a Grand Slam final, playing a tiebreaker, because you know how important winning these sets are in a Grand Slam final, and he just did it. And I get he got a bit lucky as well, but sometimes you have to make your own luck, and Sinner definitely did that. As well as this, Sinner was just a little bit involved in a controversy. I mean, against Rune, there was a point at which he was taken off court for an extended period of time due to his illness, where they had to take, blood pressure, heart rate readings off the court. I'm guessing as well to cool him down because they were concerned for his well-being. And I completely understand this. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to make sure the athlete is okay. But it did mess up Holger Rune's momentum in that match, in that quarter-final. And you don't know how that match unfolds. If Sinner had to be treated on court, only had the regular medical timeout, could Holger have taken a 2-1 lead? We don't even know how that match would play out then. And I understand that Sinner was compromised, but it was for an issue that happened at the beginning of the day. I mean, his team said he woke up and he said he wasn't feeling well, and that's why he struggled against Rune in those first 2 sets. But is that justifiable for him to be taken off court for something that doesn't happen on the court? I mean, you don't get medical timeouts for cramping. So is this also applicable to that? I guess the rules are a bit unclear and a bit grey, but then we don't know how that match goes if Sinner doesn't get that extended timeout, because Rune did say that did mess up his momentum. But taking nothing away from Sinner, because when he came back, and despite Rune losing his momentum, losing his focus and form, Sinner did play extremely well, and he won that amazing point in the third set. I'm sure you must have seen the highlights on Twitter or something like that, because that was just marvellous. He won a similar point against Zverev in the final. I think Sinner you have to do so much to get the ball past him. He's such a great defender, such a great mover, very much like Djokovic as well, hitting these open stance backhands and somehow getting more power on it than if they were to hit just a regular stance 200 backhand. I mean, it's just insane. That skiing he did when he was younger definitely translated to tennis in a positive way for him. Now looking ahead for Sinner. Sinner's got the last 3 hardcourt slams, and Sinner and Alcaraz have won 5 of the last 5 slams. So this really goes to show how good they are compared to the rest of the tour, and especially Sinner on hardcourt. He's looking very hard to beat. I know Rublev almost did it twice. He beat him once, nearly did it twice. Zverev nearly beat him in Cincinnati, but today he just looks so far away. So realistically, who's going to stop Sinner, especially on a fast court? I guess you could say Novak, if his body can hold up. Alcaraz did it on a medium pace court in Beijing. He's getting that practice in Rotterdam next week, and he's playing Tokyo as well, which is a faster court. So we'll see if Alcaraz can, build up his game on a fast hard court to try and challenge Sinner. But right now, Sinner's average level is looking better than basically everyone on tour. So thank you so much for watching and listening. Don't forget to subscribe. Take care and peace.